What's up, everybody? He's Gage Emoji. I'm Emerson Hip, and this is another episode of the Intoxicated Sports Reports. Can't wait to talk about them.
Yep, me too.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good to see you.
You as well?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, all my dry January people out there, you have about a week left. Got a week left. Just power through. This will be the easiest week of them all. I'm going a little longer.
Should be the easiest, right?
Yeah. I'm going a little bit longer than January, but hey, can never take it away from you if you do it all the way. Mm-hmm. You, on the other hand, are drinking
a little Aperol Campari Spritz kind of cocktail. There's no sparkling wine in it, but there's club soda.
There's no alcohol in that.
There is alcohol. There's no wine.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
like a traditional Spritz.
Because it looks like I told you, it looks like an Aperol Spritz just in a pint glass.
Mm-hmm. It's quite tasty. Yeah.
And I am once again drinking what you make me every week. It's tasty. I always forget what it is, but it's tasty.
I just call it pomegranate lemonade.
There we go. I will bring some non-alcoholic beers on here.
Yeah, you got it. I want to taste one with you.
They're pretty good. You know.
Have you've been dabbling a little bit?
Yeah. Deb and I got some. Well, she bought them for me. They're called Bero, B-E-R-O. Tom Holland's, who is an actor who is, I think, engaged to Zendaya. He plays Spider-Man in the Marvel films. Yep. He's also in other things as well, but I think that's what he's most known for. It's his own. He is sober. I think he has drank in the past, but I think he probably considers himself an alcoholic, which is fine. But he created this beer, or is a part of this brand of making beer still taste good without having to, maybe quote unquote suffer the consequences of maybe your whole next day, like being hungover, that kind of thing. Yeah. And I tried one, the hazy IPA. It was really good. So I think what I want to do is bring a 12-pack, which I think the 12-packs that they sell at Target, if you want to try it, they have all three. They have a Pilsner, they have a wheat ale, which those two I don't really care for, but I'd probably like to try them. Yeah. And then the hazy IPA, which I honestly think tastes better than any other hazy IPA that I've ever had. Because I'm not a hazy guy, but it tastes pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I'm not really a hazy guy anymore myself, but
I'll have to bring those in and try them out, and you can taste them too.
Sweet. Sounds good. We are about to get started with the Warriors game here. They're playing the Bulls. Your nice. Your Kings handed the Warriors a nice little L last night. Second time in like a week, right? Did they just play?
I thought it was...
Or maybe it's been a couple weeks.
I think it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, when they beat them by 30.
But I gotta say, your Warriors made it interesting.
Like I said, they always do.
Yes, you did.
They decided to be on the losing end this time.
Shout out to the Kings. They haven't played great, but I think they are now... They've won 10 out of their last 12 with Doug Christie at the helm. It's nice.
They're cooking.
It's nice.
They're cooking.
I want to ask you this question. Who's been harder to watch this sports... in the last year or last year of watching sports?
Yeah.
The Warriors or the Niners?
I'd probably go with the Niners. Yeah. I mean, the Warriors have been this bad for 3 years, since their championship pretty much.
They've been doing this consistently for the last 3 years?
Well, they've been underwhelming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors, like you said, this season in particular, it's always interesting. Yeah. They never seem like they can hold a lead.
They blow 15-plus point leads like it's something to do.
But the Niners to you were still worse than what the Warriors are doing right now.
I think with the expectations, I guess.
From a fan standpoint. Yeah. I guess who's been more irritating to watch? Probably the Warriors.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the Niners have been were frustrating this year. Although once they were out of it, they seemed to kind of mail in the last part of the season. But
I like the. I do think the illustrations on the court were a little much, but I like this little Golden Gate Bridge thing they got going.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's kind of distracting.
Yeah.
From a TV viewer's standpoint.
Well, especially when you got the Golden State, the Rakuten, Chase. You got the starry one that's not even
way too much to look at.
Yeah. Is that Lonzo Ball? Look at him, he's in.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's been playing most this year.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's great.
Do you know LaMelo's averaging 30 and 8 this year or something?
You were telling me that. I think you were telling me that last week.
Okay.
Isn't he lead the league in scoring?
No, he's not quite, but he's up there. He's in the top 5 or 6.
Lonzo's back.
Jello's back.
Jello's back.
Jello's in the booth.
Good for the LeVar Ball is out of his mind, but he made it work.
Big Baller Brand is back, baby.
Oh, Dude, what a time.
Yeah, no kidding.
What a time. LeVar Ball was going on like the Herd and First Take.
Oh my God.
Back in the heyday.
Acting like an asshat.
Saying that he could beat Jordan one-on-one in his prime.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
You guy's a fucking clown.
It's like, dude, you wear like 4X shirts. You know, I beat Michael Jordan in one-on-one.
Yeah. It's really funny, like, when Lonzo was coming out, and LeVar was talking him up so much, like, oh, he's the best player in the world. And we all knew he was full of shit. But, I mean, LaMelo has turned out to be, an all-star caliber player.
Absolutely.
Which is hilarious in its own right.
I mean, the Lonzo Ball hype train was insane.
Yeah.
You had Magic Johnson, who, in his defense, kind of has to say these things because he drafted him. But he was like, hopefully he breaks all my records and hopefully his numbers up in our Raptors one day. And it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, wishful thinking.
I'm trying to remember who went number 1 that year. Is that the Markelle Fultz? No, it wasn't Fultz. Fultz was before.
I know De'Aaron Fox is in that draft.
Yeah, he was like somewhere in the top 10, right? That was a funny one. I just remember
I remember watching
It felt like they kind of like forced him to the Lakers in a way.
I remember watching the March Madness game when it was UCLA versus Kentucky when it was De'Aaron Fox against Lonzo Ball. And I think Kentucky beat him.
Yeah, probably.
Good times. How long ago was that? Probably 2017? Yeah, jeez.
When he got drafted?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it here. Usually it's a little easier than this. Maybe not. Top pick was Markelle Fultz.
It was Fultz, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was longer ago than that. And then...
Which, ouch.
Yeah, he's still playing, but he's kind of a bust. Tatum, that's right. He was after. Tatum's probably the best player that came out of this draft, I would guess.
Yeah.
Does that have like value or something? Yeah, Tatum, Donovan Mitchell was in this draft too. He got drafted 13th.
Wow.
Bam. Yeah, not a bad draft.
No.
De'Aaron Fox right there. Laurie Markkinen too.
Nice.
Yeah, Lonzo, according to this, is the 11th most valuable player out of the draft, so definitely not worthy of being number 2.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say so. But it is nice to see Lonzo Ball back because he's fought some pretty bad injury history.
Yeah, and honestly, I felt bad for him because he actually was very humble in the whole situation. His dad is just, the jackass of the group.
Yeah, that had been so hard to deal with that. And I think it's nice that we didn't have to see that again with LaMelo. I even think LeVar Ball.
He realized he needed to shut up.
Well, for Lonzo behind the scenes, like, please. I love you and you've put me in this position. I appreciate you forever, but I need you just to shut your mouth.
Right.
Also, it didn't help that they came out their own shoes, and even, I think Lonzo
didn't even wear them.
They were, terrible shoes.
Yep, not a good look.
Really bad. But enough about... That's probably the most we talked about the Ball brothers.
Right.
On this podcast.
That's all they're going to get.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Let's jump into the news.
Let's do it.
Crack a beer real quick.
Nice Sierra Nevada. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. You want to smell it?
No,
and this frosty glass, too. Ooh. Doesn't get any better.
It doesn't.
There is something about... I know we've definitely talked about it on this show. Beers on ice.
Well...
It's so much better than a refrigerated beer.
Like beer, yeah. Not like beers.
No, not pouring them over ice.
Yeah,
Beers that are being chilled by ice.
Yes.
It's just a different animal.
It is. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It could be the move.
It's definitely the move. All right, into the news. Starting with some baseball stuff. Dodgers, of course, they signed Japanese phenom Roki Sasaki once again, just crushing the Japanese market right now.
It's like what you said before I left here last week. You're like, of course the Dodgers are going to get him. They're going to say, "Oh, Japanese player, come on over."
Yeah, come on down.
Which was fucking hilarious when you said that.
They're not going to stop either. I mean, they're just going to be the train. They're going to have a highway straight from Japan to LA. And it's going to have they're going to have all the best players from Japan. That's fine. Whatever. Just ruining baseball one by one.
Do you think they are ruining baseball?
I mean,
they're playing by
being
the
a little
rules.
salty.
They're playing by the rules.
They are.
It just sucks that
they're not doing anything illegal.
It sucks that we're on the ass end of it because we're Giants fans. And the Giants are probably going to be fourth in their division this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing it has created is a league-wide disdain for the Dodgers, so everyone's on our side now.
The Dodgers are going to get everybody's best game next year. And probably for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, teams are going to want to beat them. I don't think that was ever not the case, but yeah, teams are definitely going to want to beat him.
Because it was between the Dodgers for Roki Sasaki. It was between the Dodgers, Padres, and the Blue Jays.
I think the Blue Jays were kind of in the mix, but I don't know.
Isn't it funny how Ohtani was in the mix too?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any correlation there. What is it about the Blue Jays?
Maybe that it's an international market rather than a U.S. market. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
That's what someone made the point about when Ohtani was trying to, choosing where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
That if he went to Toronto, wouldn't be the sexiest pick, but he could literally, you could have your own country.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you could be the man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still be the man in the United States, which is what he is.
Yeah.
Like you could literally be the dude in a whole different country.
Yeah.
And also in baseball, which would be the United States as well.
Yeah.
Didn't choose to do that, unfortunately, but I do see the other point of that.
Yeah. Yep. So Dodgers, they just they keep on chugging with all these acquisitions. What are we gonna do?
But speaking of Japanese players,
Yeah.
baseball Hall of Fame inductees: Ichiro Suzuki, of course, most known for playing with the Seattle Mariners. I think we can all say that.
Yeah.
In agreement. 19 seasons, 14, like I said, with the Marlins. He was one vote shy of being unanimous. I want to ask you about that because I know it's in baseball they just don't do it. It's kind of annoying. The only one guy is Mariano.
Right.
Who knows why it was him and not Willie Mays.
Right.
First.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any player that you would assume would be, everyone thinks is a Hall of Famer. I think Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth are in that kind of
that should be.
It pretty much should be the only guys on the list, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, even like Derek Jeter, I think was one shot. And I think Derek Jeter, it's just like you say the name, and it should be a no-brainer. Like Ken Griffey Jr. should have got every vote.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys that should have got every vote, but that's part of the problem with the selection process. Not that we want to get into it, but it's just it's a shitty Hall of Fame. That's all I can say. And I hate to say it because I love baseball, but it's a bad Hall of Fame. Really
but Ichiro, 2001, he won the MVP and Rookie of the Year. He was a 10-time All-Star, which was 10 straight, 10-time Gold Glove, which was 10 straight, 2 batting titles, and over 3,000 hits. He also had 500 stolen bases, and he led MLB in hits 7 times, and he holds the single-season hits record with 262, and that happened in 2004.
Incredible. He was just he had so much bat control. It was insane. I mean, you don't see he had 7. Or I think it was 10 straight years of 200 hits. I mean, I don't think anyone gets 200 hits in a season these days. I mean, maybe Luis Ariz.
Maybe Altuve in his
yeah, but that, he's not doing that anymore. No. It's interesting to wonder what kind of player he would be if he started his career now. Because people say that he had a lot of power, that he just never really flashed it in the game. Could be a little bit bullshit, but I think he did hit 15 home runs one year, so he definitely had some pop in his bat. It'd be interesting to see if he would be asked to try and drive the ball more rather than hit for average.
Well, I wonder what his career would have been if he didn't play the Japanese league for so many years, because if you add up his Japanese league hits and his MLB hits, he had more than Pete Rose.
Yeah,
who was
4,500
who was the all-time hits leader.
Right.
And I know it's a different game, that kind of thing, but it's interesting. I mean, just the thought of it.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think what maybe he could have done if he started his career with, just with the MLB.
Right.
But Ichiro, when I saw the ballot, there was 2 guys I thought for sure, and you know more about baseball than me, but when I saw the two names I saw, Ichiro, no doubt, and then who we're going to get to, CC Sabathia, I thought were the only 2 that I thought for sure. Yeah. And maybe Carlos Beltran is in there, and
yeah, he got close. And
Andrew Jones were in there too.
Yeah.
But congrats to Ichiro, it was a no-brainer. There was no chance he wasn't going to get in.
No, yeah.
And being a first ballot Hall of Famer it means a lot in baseball. Like football, that's not really a thing. I mean, they don't really make it.
They don't make a big deal.
Right? Yeah. Speaking of CC Sabathia, Vallejo's finest, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Vallejo.
Congrats.
19 seasons, 11 with the Yankees. He won the Cy Young in 2007. In 2009, he won the World Series with the Yankees. He was also the ALCS MVP that year, and he was a 6-time All-Star.
Hell of a career.
I think he had also, if I have it here correct, over 3,000 strikeouts.
That sounds right.
And where I got that? 3,000 strikeouts and 250 plus wins. I think it's a pretty big deal.
I'm not a wins guy, but some people are.
You don't think? I mean,
I just don't think pitchers have that much control over the team winning and losing.
fair.
Because like if your team doesn't score any runs for you, you get you don't get a win. You pitch 7 shutout innings. You know, I just think it's a bad stat. Yeah. And you could also shit the bed, but your team scores more runs than the other team.
But CC, were you okay with him making Hall of Fame first ballot?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly didn't really think of him off the top of my head as like a surefire Hall of Famer, but he had a really solid career. I think the biggest thing that his resume has is Cy Young, and an awesome World Series run that he had in 2009 with the Yankees, where he was dominant ace for 5 starts in that postseason run, and then also the longevity. I mean, he threw over 3,500 innings, which there may not be another pitcher in history that does that. Wow. I think Justin Verlander is like the last guy that has a shot to do it.
And he's the last guy to have a shot to get 300 wins.
Right, which that's probably not even likely in its own right. So I think his candidacy was built much on those 3 things. I didn't feel like he was. I had to go back and look at his numbers because I didn't think of him as like that dominant, but he did have a good stretch where he was a top 5 pitcher for about 5 years. So I think that's good enough to get you in. But yeah, awesome that we got a guy that's pretty local getting in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. And then the last person who I don't know much about, not gonna lie, you probably know more about him than I do.
Yeah.
Billy Wagner, 16 seasons, 9 with the Astros, 7-time All-Star, 422 saves, which is 8th all time. By the way, Kenley Jansen's 4th on that list, which
we were talking about that earlier.
Blew me away.
Pretty crazy.
Blew me away.
Yeah.
Billy Wagner had a sub 300 or sub 300
3
ERA in all 13 seasons in which he pitched at least 45 innings, 4 of which were below 2. 4 seasons with 100 plus strikeouts.
This guy was honestly one of the most dominant relievers of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of under the radar, I think. I think part of his candidacy was hurt by the fact that he struggled in limited postseason action that he performed in.
Okay. Because this was his 10th time on the
this was his last chance to get in. But I think also like with relievers, they don't get a lot of love unless you're like the best of the best, kind of, which he really was. I mean, this dude was a strikeout machine. Striking out 100 guys as a reliever in a season is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And for him to do it 4 times, he also, I think the coolest thing that he did was kind of a mic drop in his last season at age 38, had like a 1.4 ERA and had over 100 strikeouts, and just, I'm retiring. Okay. I'm out.
Well, good for him getting in on his last year of the ballot. Some people could argue, well, if you weren't on the first time, why you went on the 10th time?
Right.
But we all know the baseball writers and voters just do things a little differently.
They sure do.
Players that just missed it, Carlos Beltran, 70% of the vote, which I think you have to get, 73?
75.
75?
Yeah.
And Andrew Jones, I didn't know he spelled his name with an U.
Yeah.
He had 66%. I imagine both these guys will probably get in eventually.
I think so. I think Beltran, has a better case if I had to pick between the two, but I think both probably get in. I mean, Jones was an amazing defensive player with a lot of power, and Beltran, more of an offensive guy, a lot of power, a lot of stolen bases. Yeah. So I think he probably gets in. The only thing with Beltran is that's still like hanging over him is the sign stealing scandal with the Astros, which he was a part of in his final year. And apparently, like some people say, he was the architect,
the ringleader.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, because he got 70% the first time, so you got to think he's probably.
Well, this was his 3rd time, I think, or 3rd or 4th.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But regardless, it's still early on in his.
Still has 7 more years to be able to get in.
Yeah.
Because
he gets in, I think.
I think he gets.
I don't see him going down, and you're only 5% away. After 3 years. I think some people are just, maybe it's going to take them time to get over the whole...
Maybe a little too recent still.
Yeah, exactly.
The sign-stealing scandal.
Yeah, because that was literally in his final season as a player.
Yeah.
That happened, so...
Giants legend, Carlos Beltran.
You know what's funny that I remember about him as a Giant is he came over, it was the year after they won the first World Series, and they traded for him at the trade deadline, and he came over, and I felt like every home run that he hit was in a meaningless bet. It was hilarious. Like, you look at just his numbers, they were good when he was with the Giants.
Oh, really?
But I just felt like every time he did something, it was like the Giants were down 4-1 in the ninth inning and he hit a solo home run. I'm like, where was that earlier in the game, dog?
That's pretty funny.
So, I mean, not that I dislike him for that, but it seemed funny in the moment.
So congrats to those three for making the Hall of Fame. It's also a nice breath of fresh air to see multiple guys get in because there was a time period where there was nobody getting in.
Yeah, it was like one a year or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know 2021 or 2020, no one got in. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, because I don't want to see a ton of people make it every year because I don't think it should be the Hall of Fame and not Hall of really good.
Really good, yeah. I get you.
So
a couple of guys that I feel like are interesting going forward is Chase Utley because he's definitely one of the best second basemen of all time.
And he was on the ballot.
He was on the ballot. He got like less than 40%. And that was like his second or third time on, I believe.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he gets more love.
You know who I saw on the ballot was Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah.
He's not going to make it.
No, he was very good early on, but I just don't think he was good for long enough. And he played in Colorado, which, kind of dilutes your numbers.
Yeah. Still interested to see because Buster Posey's going to be on this ballot soon, right?
2026. So yeah, next year.
I don't know if we'll get him first ballot, but I think Buster could.
Yeah, we'll see what the voters think of him because
I think the championships can weigh pretty heavy for
because the longevity is definitely not there, unfortunately.
So I think what he has going for him is the 3 and 5.
Yeah,
and he won MVP but he won a lot of Gold Gloves because
Molina took some from him. He's probably only won one, I think.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see Felix Hernandez get in. I think. He was so dominant for like 6-7 years. Because I was kind of comparing him to CeCe. And in my mind, I was like, I just felt like Felix Hernandez was just way better than him at his peak. There was like 6 years where I felt like Felix Hernandez was going out there and on any given day he could throw a no-hitter or strike out like 15 guys.
And he threw a perfect game.
He did throw a perfect game, yeah.
I think it's the last one that's been thrown and he did it like 2 weeks after Matt came.
Right, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see if the voters give him some more love going forward too.
Some other NFL news: Bears hired Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, so Ben Johnson stays in division.
Yeah.
Funny enough, good for that's
interesting. And I think
it makes sense because he probably Caleb. He's like, how can I pass it up?
For sure. I just one thing that I fear with some of these guys that are play calling gurus, and I've had this personal feeling about Kyle Shanahan sometimes too, is that they literally need to take these jobs and hire someone to be their game manager.
Okay.
And their clock manager in a way. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like sometimes they get in the way of themselves by trying to call a game, call every play on offense and not focusing on, the task at hand, which is winning the game. Yeah. So they almost need to still consider themselves the de facto offensive coordinator, and that someone else needs to be there, at least in their ear, saying, this is how much time is on the clock, or, consider this play instead of what you got on your play sheet.
Because it is
because of the game situation.
Yeah, because it is a lot on your plate to have to deal with.
Right.
But you would think for getting paid the way they're getting paid, you should be able to handle it.
You would think, but I gotta imagine being a play caller is a lot of fucking work.
Absolutely.
On the field,
Absolutely. The Jets hired Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, so the Lions lose another coordinator.
Yeah.
I think this is going to affect them next season.
I think so too.
How can it not?
Yeah, I think so too, and I think the way they lost, going out is going to be a tough pill to swallow over the offseason.
Absolutely. So congrats to Aaron Glenn. Good. He was also a former Cowboy. I had no idea. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
I think he played
in like the early 2000s or mid 2000s, something like that. Like defensive back, was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Saints, and the Jaguars all still have openings. Cowboys, it sounded like that they're going to get Schottenheimer's son.
Brian
Schottenheimer.
I actually looked up Marty Schottenheimer last night, and I forgot how good of a coach he was, honestly. He went to a lot of playoffs.
You know what Jerry Jones is probably thinking? Well, it worked for the Niners. Look at Shanahan.
Yeah.
The dad was good. The son's got to be good.
I also didn't know that Marty was a defensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. And Brian's an offensive guy, so that's interesting. But
the one red flag people have been saying with Brian Schottenheimer is that he has had a ton of experience, but never has been a head coach.
Yeah.
So, don't you think you'd be a head coach by now if people thought you had some kind of promise?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the Cowboys do. They're going to do the wrong thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, you made a point, too, and I think it's probably the truest, and he's got puppet written all over him.
Absolutely. He's a yes man.
Yeah.
That's what Jerry Jones wants.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think this would be a better hire than Jason Witten? Yes.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. Yeah, like, this isn't like rock bottom, although the Cowboys are hitting rock bottom overall.
Yeah. But it definitely has Jason Garrett written all over it, with the just minus the Cowboys ties.
Yeah, so the Raiders, they're kind of thinking or saying, is it going to be Pete Carroll going to be the head coach of the Raiders?
Well, I actually just read an article that a few hours ago saying that Pete Carroll was talking to Jerry Jones. It was more like a non-official.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old, but
I kind of love that he's still in the head coaching mix, and that he's still got that fire.
I'm sure he misses it.
Yeah. I mean, I dislike Pete Carroll, don't get me wrong. But I think it's good if he's in the league.
Then wouldn't it be perfect if he's the Cowboys head coach?
It'll be great. That'd be fantastic.
The Saints, I haven't really heard anything about who they want. I don't know if you have.
It sounds like Mike McCarthy's got an interview lined up with them, but it seems like their search has gone the slowest of all of them.
Yeah.
And
then the Jags, they could be solid. Could be, who would you say earlier?
They're targeting Liam Cohen, who's the offensive coordinator for Tampa, who has only been there for 1 year because their previous guy got hired by the Panthers.
Heard he didn't want to go to the Jags because of your boy Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke gets fired, and all of a sudden he wants to go and have a second interview.
Yeah.
Which he kind of... Do you think the Jags think that highly of him, that they fired Baalke, or you think it just happened to happen that way?
I think they probably realized that maybe Trent Baalke was getting in the way of them getting who they want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say yes to that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Baalke and Jim Harbaugh had their beef, in San Francisco, so it could be another situation where, head coach doesn't feel like he can get along with this guy, so why be a part of it?
Exactly. And that's the news.
Dun, 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 dun. Time for college football. We're going to talk national championship, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Not the greatest, but not the worst national championship game I've ever seen.
The final score didn't depict how close the game was, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I will just say this before we talk about the score. I will give Notre Dame credit for at least making it a game and forcing Ohio State to make some plays at the end.
That first drive by Notre Dame, you like to your new term is perfect drives. That was a perfect drive by Notre Dime. What was it, 18 plays?
Yeah, they opened the game with
9 minutes.
18 plays, 9-minute and 45-second touchdown drive, which is an eternity in football.
God, you kidding me?
I mean, over half of a quarter.
That's impressive.
After that, I was like, okay, Notre Dame came to play. And they really didn't at that point. Ohio State answered with an 11-play touchdown drive of their own, of course, and that drive finished in the second quarter, which is crazy to think about. Yeah. We were on pace for 4 possessions per team. Of course, Ohio State then proceeded to score another 3 touchdowns on their next 3 possessions and a field goal on the 4th, leading to a 31-7 lead midway through the third quarter.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was all Ohio State at that point. And like I said, credit to Notre Dame. They scored the next 2 touchdowns of the game and got those 2-point conversions to make it a 1-score game, 31-23 with 4 minutes left. It was probably a little too late, unfortunately. Nail in the coffin was that bomb from Will Howard to Jeremiah Smith down the right sideline.
Jeremiah Smith is going to be...
for 56 yards.
I mean, he's already so good.
He's
got 2 more years.
He's an animal.
To play in college.
I heard a funny take that there should be... like a vote or something on allowing underclassmen to enter early.
I mean, if Jeremiah Smith would enter the draft now,
early,
he'd probably be top 5 pick.
He'd be the first receiver drafted, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an animal. Yeah, 56-yard play on 3rd and 11 with 2:45 left, pretty much sealed the deal. Yeah. Set up that game-sealing field goal.
Which, backdoor cover.
It was a backdoor cover, big time. Ohio State 34, Notre Dame 23 was the final score. Will Howard played a perfect football game, in my opinion.
Okay.
17 out of 21, 231 yards. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot, but everything that they did ask him to do, he did really well. Had a couple touchdown passes out of 57 yards on the ground. Also, Quinshon Judkins. Both these guys transfers, by the way, Will Howard and Quinshon Judkins, which we already know the transfer portal is a huge thing, but I feel like the teams that compete for a championship every year are going to have key contributors from the transfer portal, which is an interesting thing in college football these days. It's kind of like free agency in a way.
Quinshon Judkins is a tongue twister.
Yeah, I can hardly say it, but 120 yards from scrimmage for him and 3 total touchdowns.
Big game.
Yeah, big game for him. 9th national championship in school history for Ohio State.
Isn't it funny that the first year of the CFP, 4 teams, they won the championship.
Yeah.
And the first year of the 12 team, they won the championship.
They love those new formats. They're going to have to wait till it gets to 14 before they win again.
So the biggest question, does it matter if they didn't beat Michigan this year?
If you're asking me, I say no. If you're asking an Ohio State fan, they might say differently.
We talked about it last week, but that take to me is just...
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So congrats to Ohio State. Who cares? You didn't beat Michigan, whatever.
Right.
You won the championship.
Yeah.
And it's also funny that Michigan won it last year, Ohio State won it this year. It's kind of funny how things work like that.
I don't know if you saw that guy's take on... It was like on an Instagram clip or whatever. And he literally said exactly what happened. He said... He's like, I don't want Ohio State to win the national championship because they're gonna have to bring back Ryan Day, and we'll have to continue to have him as our coach. He's gonna keep losing to Michigan. I was just like,
boo-hoo.
You're a fucking loser, dude.
Boo-hoo. If Mike McCarthy would have won the Cowboys the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl this year with the Cowboys, I'd be like, cool, keep him. He did what he needed to do.
It's like, if the Giants lost all 13 games they played against the Dodgers every year, but they won the World Series every year, I would not give one shit.
No, absolutely not. The only people that make that a big deal is Dodger fans.
Yeah.
Like, well, we beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we beat you in the fucking playoffs.
Yeah. Eat one.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But congrats to Ohio State.
Yeah.
Congrats to Ohio State.
Let's recap just our last picks. I know you got that cover.
I was sitting there, I'm like, if they kick a field goal, I get it. If they kick a field goal, I get it.
Yeah. So you finished on a nice little 2-game win streak there, Gage. Good job.
Let's go.
Final records, you were 21-26. I finished 29-17-1. You already gave me my crown last week, so don't feel.
I'll give you a hand. That's a good score.
Yeah,
it's a good score.
That was a good year for college picks.
21-26, not great, but I think
you buttoned it up a little bit over the last
exactly.
last handful of weeks.
Yeah. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year I can be 500.
Yeah, and we can finally exit out of this document. All right.
Yeah.
What's next, Gage?
On to the NFL playoffs, the stuff that really matters.
Playoffs?
Just kidding. Kings are getting smoked. Sweet. The Chiefs beat the Texans 23-14. C.J. Stroud was sacked 8 times.
Crazy.
Just 212 yards of offense for Kansas City. Travis Kelce just seems to do Travis Kelce things in the playoffs.
He's a different guy.
7 receptions, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. I'd bet that's probably his best game all season, including the regular season.
Yeah, at least one of his 3 best. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas City just continues to win ugly.
Yeah.
What's new?
Yeah, so total yards, Houston 336, like Chiefs, like we said, 212. Time possession, Houston had 33 and some change. Kansas City, 26 and some change. And I think kind of what the key of Houston losing was their field goal or their kicker missing a couple. An extra point and a couple field goals.
Right. Well, I definitely feel like when they had what would have been the game tying touchdown and he missed the extra point, that just like took all the wind out of their sails. Yeah. And it was all Chiefs from there pretty much.
But for the Texans, you lost to the Chiefs. Everybody except for Burrow and
no one expected them to win. Let's be real.
But I know I made that ridiculous proclamation.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the game, I really felt they were in it.
Well, they were. Yeah. There's no question.
Like they didn't get whooped.
No.
They just lost.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Texans played a good enough game, at least in the first half. I know it's a 2-half game, whatever. But they played pretty well in the first half to keep themselves in it.
Right.
So you gotta respect them for that.
Yep. Did I hear right that they're the first team to outgain a team by 100 yards and not turn the ball over and lose in the playoffs?
I didn't hear anything like that, but I mean, I would.
I could be wrong.
I would trust you.
Or they're like one of a few teams ever do it, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, the fact 200 yards of offense. How do you win a football game like that? It's crazy. And they didn't even score like a defensive touchdown.
I mean, isn't this the Chiefs in a nutshell?
Pretty much.
But I'm gonna tell you this: the Chiefs, they cannot. If they play like this next week, this Sunday, they're gonna lose.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I would think.
Yeah, probably. But you never fucking know.
You never know. Yeah, so it's Texas. Yeah, the game was all right. I listened to most of this on the radio because I was working on Saturday, but
Honestly, it was probably the worst game of all four of them.
yeah. Upset of the week. I would say upset of the week. Commanders upset the Lions, 45-31. The Lions turned the ball over 5 times. Goff picked a bad game to have a bad game.
Yep.
3 interceptions. Jaden Daniels, 350 total yards, 2 touchdowns passing. Excuse me. Let me just tell you this. The Lions fell flat on their face.
Bad.
This reminded me of the Cowboys wildcard game last year against the Packers.
Not terribly different.
You're the higher seed and the home game, and you just take a shit.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it reminded me of. It also kind of reminded me of 2016, Cowboys 1 seed, losing to, again, the Packers. A little different because Dak was a rookie, all that kind of stuff, but it's just a game that everyone, especially for the Cowboys last year, thought should have won. I think the Lions should have won this game.
Yeah.
Or they,
least
going into it,
they were the
should
favorite,
have won
for sure. I mean, I don't know who I said it to, but I just felt like the only way they were going to lose is if they turned the ball over. And I did not expect 5 turnovers,
Yeah.
but yeah, it burned them bad, real bad.
And it just never... It felt like one of those games for the Commanders, and if you're a Lions fan or a fan of any team playing another team, it just didn't feel like the Commanders were ever not going to score.
Yeah.
It always felt like when they had the ball in their hands, they were going to either score a touchdown or get 3.
Yeah.
And I know this, being a Cowboys fan, it sucks. Because you just tell the way the game's going that the defense can't stop a nosebleed, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep scoring on us. When you figure that out early, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, he's kind of giving me a little Joe Flacco, and I'm not trying to open an old wound. 2013, not throwing a pick so far.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, you never know.
Yeah.
This man right now is not playing like a rookie.
No.
He's not looking like a rookie. It's not anything that I've really ever seen from a rookie this deep in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't really remember Big Ben because I think the Steelers maybe made it this far.
Yeah.
Divisional or the championship game with Ben Roethlisberger. I think Russell Wilson with the Seahawks might have made it to the divisional round.
Yeah, I think they won 1 game. Yeah.
Same with Dak, rookie, made it to the divisional round.
Yeah.
So Jaden Daniels is kind of in some uncharted territory.
For sure. He's special. I like him a lot. A lot of people are like, give him the ball, down 1 score late in the game, and it's inevitable, but I'm not sure I'm there yet, but I do like my chances when he's got the ball in his hands in a big moment.
Yeah, he doesn't make mistakes. And yeah, big third down. It can be like 3rd and 15, and he's going to find a way to get to the receiver and get a first down.
Yeah.
It's really impressive what he's doing. And to think that I really wanted them to draft Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot.
Oof.
How can I not feel like an idiot right now?
Cold take, Gage.
Very cold take. Last thing I want to ask you about this game is, do you think the Lions are cursed?
I don't know about that.
This felt like this. I mean, you look at last year in the championship game, and they should have had that one. You think? I mean, you got to play 4 quarters, but that one probably hurts more because it felt. Obviously, it was a championship game, and you feel like you were that close to at least making the Super Bowl.
Right. The only thing with last year's team is that they. When you feel like teams are destined to do something, I don't feel like they were that team. I felt like the Niners were more that team
of last year?
In the NFC. Yeah,
that's fair.
This year, I also kind of lost my faith in them because of all the injuries on defense, and of course they got torched once again.
Yeah.
So I just it was just I mean, in a way, this season you could say got cursed in a way by all the injuries, but I mean, even if they'd beaten the Commanders, I'm not sure that they were just going to be an odds-on favorite to beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
In the championship game.
So of course I can't go an episode without ranting about the Cowboys. So let me, without further ado, the Cowboys now have the longest NFC title appearance drought, with the Commanders making it this year. Chicago Bears now hold the 2nd spot in the NFC since 2010. The Dolphins overall have the the 2nd longest, 32 years, and the Browns 35 years since making the championship game. Not even winning it.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are at 29 years. They haven't even been to the title game in 29 years.
So and Washington's streak was
like 31
or 2 or
like
early 90s. Yeah,
something like that. So I'm just trying to just really lay it out to show you how bad the Cowboys have been the last almost 30 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, not that bad, but just like not good enough to get there.
Yeah, like, you're not even good enough to make it, not even win it, you're not even good enough to make it to the game before.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing.
I mean, yeah, they have like only a handful of playoff wins since that championship appearance.
Yeah, like what, 4?
Yeah,
maybe
something like
3,
that.
something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tough.
The Cowboys are the only NFC team in this millennium to not make it to the title game.
Ouch.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That is crazy to think.
Yeah.
That at least every team has had a taste of it in
To have gone to it.
yeah.
Not the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think of any team that I can feel like has never really had a chance since we've been watching football in the NFC.
I know, right? When you really think about it.
Because I want to say the Panthers, but the Panthers have been to 2 Super Bowls in our lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, who do I have in my head? Like the Bears, they made it in 2005. But I guess they made it in 2010 too, so they made it twice.
Yeah. Also, like the Cardinals have been to a Super Bowl, but they're a team that generally is not in the mix.
Yeah. You can't think of a team because there's no team exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
just, how come this is my life?
I guess the Vikings too, because the Vikings have not been to a Super Bowl, but they did go to a couple.
Oh yeah, they went to the one
with
against
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum and
Yeah.
Brett Favre, of course.
Yep.
Which I sent you that play again. God, that Brett Favre interception
It's
was
pretty bad.
I
didn't even watch it. I knew it was bad.
I'd forgotten how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like they were already in fringe field goal range.
Yeah, they were like right outside.
And when Brett Favre actually, cause I think I said a couple weeks ago, he rolled to his left. He actually rolled to his right.
Right, but then threw it across his body.
Threw it across his body to the left.
Yeah.
And he had green in front of him. He could have ran like 5 yards, maybe like slid head first and something like that.
Puke.
Yeah. So Jaden Daniels now has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott this postseason. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. Dak Prescott is coming into like his 10th season.
Yeah.
Just saying. And of course, NFC title game is going to include Dan Quinn, former DC of the Cowboys, and Kellen Moore, former offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones. I hope you watch this game. I hope you watch this game and you realize, wow, my team is just that much further behind than these two teams right now.
Eek.
Just saying.
Eek.
It's embarrassing.
It's crazy that Washington made it. Like, I know they were a fun story all season long. Obviously, they got up to that hot start, then kind of got cold in the middle of the season, but they are, on a 7-game win streak right now? Pretty crazy.
Cardiac Commanders.
They're 14-5 this year. I know I talked about 13-5 last week, but it's crazy to think about.
The Eagles, like I just mentioned, they're going to the championship game. They beat the Rams in the divisional round 28-22. Saquon Barkley, your boy, over 200 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Each one of those touchdowns, I believe, were over 60 yards. One was 60, one was 70. Very impressive.
Saw an interesting stat that he and Eric Dickerson, only 2 players in playoff history to have a game with 200 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in that same game of over 40 yards.
Wow. I mean, I guess the Bills game was really good too, but I thought this Eagles-Rams game was...
Well, the Rams had to claw back in late in the game, and they had a really good shot there at the end.
Yeah, they played better than I thought, given the weather, being a team from California. But I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because they are a well-coached team. Sean McVay, you can't really go against them.
Honestly, you put this game in a dome, I'm not sure who wins. Seriously.
Yeah, because did you watch most of this game? Or
I had half an eye on it, yeah.
It started out, you could see the green grass.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, it was all white.
Yeah.
All white. Saquon, he is playing like a man possessed right now. He's playing, this is the best he's ever played in his career.
Yeah. I don't want to take anything away from him, but their offensive line is great.
Well, you have to have, you have to have both.
Yeah.
You have to have both.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have I don't know if Barry Sanders had great lines back in the day.
Right.
You have to to be a good running back, you have to have a really good line.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yes, in theory.
Yeah. So, I want to mention something about Saquon. So, he has right now 2,329 yards rushing, including the playoffs this season. That is the third most all-time behind Terrell Davis, who has the top 2 spots.
Oh, really? He's done it twice? Jeez.
Yeah. So
the 97 and 98, I imagine?
Yeah, so 98 is the top one with 2,476 yards rushing.
Oh, he's right there.
And then, number 2, he's going to pass it this game. He only needs 3 more yards.
Yeah.
2,331 and 97.
Sheesh.
Obviously, both those years, Terrell Davis, I think one of those he rushed over 2,000.
Yeah.
Or maybe both?
I don't think both, but I think he did do one, and he won
Probably
MVP. I think one of those years too.
So I mean, Saquon Barkley, if he could do this, he could pass this record this game.
Yeah.
But if they make the Super Bowl, it's almost a guarantee unless, barring injury, which I hope doesn't happen.
Right.
I don't like the Eagles, but I don't want injuries to happen.
Right. You want to see it all.
Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, he has got a lot of yards, and I had to see where it ranked,
Yeah.
including the playoffs, and he's right there.
He's having a dream season.
Absolutely. And the Eagles, to me, they're beatable. The Commanders could get them.
Oh, yeah. They could lose. The only thing I fear is, the games keep getting bigger. So, like, when, is Jaden Daniels and, this young, inexperienced Washington team going to continue to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, exactly.
And can they stop Saquon?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But yes, I agree. They're absolutely beatable. They played honestly a very pedestrian game on offense outside of Saquon going off. Like Jaden Daniels. Jalen Hurts wasn't anything special. No. Passing. I know it was snowing, so it makes the passing game a little more difficult. But
rush for 200 yards because it was snowing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I think the championship game is going to be more interesting than you would have guessed.
I agree. Game of the week. I think this game had a lot of hype around.
A lot of juice. Yep.
Top two guys in MVP voting, what's probably going to be. But the Bills held off the Ravens and won 27-25. Baltimore is kind of the reason why they've lost, I would say, is 3 turnovers. Yeah. Buffalo had none. Mark Andrews, just like Jared Goff, picked a bad day to have a bad day.
I feel bad for him, man. Really do.
Yeah. He had the fumble in the fourth quarter and then dropped the game-tying 2-point attempt. And I got to say this about the 2-point attempt. Even if he catches it and they tie it up, I like the Bills' chance with a minute and a half and I think 2 timeouts in their pocket to get down field goal range. I know it's kind of snowy. I know Tyler Bass is not the best.
Yeah.
But it's not like it wasn't like a guarantee that they were going to win that game, the Ravens.
Oh, no, not at
all.
It
would have helped their chances, obviously, but it's not like, the Bills would have got the ball back, plenty of time, plenty of timeouts.
Yeah, because it was like a minute and a half left, right?
Yeah.
I agree. There was no guarantee they're going to win, but obviously you want to give yourself that chance, and dropping that pass did not offer them that chance.
Because Mark Andrews is seems like a good guy. He's a good player.
Yeah.
And, Lamar Jackson, too, he also picked a bad day to have a bad day.
He was good. The turnover.
The 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
The interception was bad.
The interception was bad. And the fumble was pretty bad,
too.
Yeah. I don't think... Excuse me. I don't think he had a bad game. Obviously, those turnovers hurt. But he did a lot in that second half to get his team back in the game. Unfortunately, too little, too late. But yeah, I don't know that this game would be indicative of that narrative that's going around that Lamar Jackson can't do it in the playoffs.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Lamar's playoff record 3-5.
Not good.
And I'm just going to tell you, Dak Prescott's record in the playoffs is 2-5.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Dak Prescott is better than Lamar Jackson by any means. Lamar is a 2-time MVP, could be a 3-time MVP, has made it to the championship game, which Cowboys, as we know, have not done that in 29 years.
Yep.
But the playoff record, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
They're pretty similar.
Yeah.
And Lamar just needs to... He kind of seems like a Peyton Manning right now. He's can't make that jump yet, but I do think he will.
Yeah, I am not giving up on him at this point.
No.
If he again, like, next year has a game that, bounces them out of the playoffs and he plays poorly, I'll start to have some doubts. Yeah. But I don't think that this, playoff run, short-lived as it was, gives me any reason to doubt him. I think he's going to get there, like you said.
Well, it's tough for anybody in the AFC, especially these top-flight guys, because Lamar in a playoff series is going to have to play the combination of Mahomes, Allen, or Burrow at least twice. Like 2 of those guys in a playoff series, if not 3.
And if any other team's making the playoffs, maybe they probably got a great defense or something like that.
Yeah. So it's not... AFC's tough.
Yeah.
And I think that is in Lamar's favor, but Lamar... It's getting to that point where people are starting really to talk about it.
For sure, yeah.
Because, last year he finally made it to the championship game, huge deal. But, you're at home, and for some reason the play calling was weird.
That was super suspect.
And you lose to arguably the best quarterback of all time. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But you were at home. You were at the 1 seed because they had the home game.
Yep.
And it didn't work out. And it's just, he's got to figure it out. And I think he knows that. I think it's hard.
I think last year's game, the way they went out was way more embarrassing than this one. They played. I felt like they played overall a good game outside of the turnovers. Like they were the more effective team moving the football all game long. I mean, the Bills in the middle of the game didn't do shit.
Yeah.
After halftime, basically they stopped moving the football.
Yeah. Tough.
But they held on.
Yep. Bills go to the championship game and they play the Chiefs. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. And on to championship Sunday.
Well, who's your player of the week?
Player of the week. I mean, Saquon Barkley.
Saquon, yep. Hard to not go with that.
It's unanimous. Unlike Ichiro over here.
I guess.
Probably Jaden.
I was gonna say Jaden, but I'll go Travis Kelce. He had a nice game.
Okay, I like that.
Playoff Travis is back.
Playoff Trav, he's back.
Yep. Also, that Chiefs defensive line pretty nasty.
So championship Sunday. I know a lot of people love the divisional round weekend, and it is good. More games, and you get maybe now we're getting the CFP game the same weekend, right. So it's a lot of football. Yeah. But I've always loved championship Sunday.
Championship Sunday is arguably as good as Super Bowl Sunday.
And, for me, I think I like it so much because I don't have to worry about if my team's playing it. I don't got to stress about it, ever. But there's so much when you're watching and you realize that these guys are playing for legacy, possible, Hall of Fame.
Representing their conference.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's not the Super Bowl, but the nerves are tense, and you want to win the game. And
you think about the long season, getting to be in the Final Four in a sport where it's fucking brutal all season long. But to be in the Final Four, I think it's pretty special, and you get your chance to go to the big one.
Yep. So we have the NFC East matchup: Commanders at Eagles, and the Eagles are a 6.5 point or 6 point favorite. And the Bills at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are a 2 point favorite. These two games to pick, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, do I start first?
It is my turn to go first this week.
How did I do last week?
Let's check it out. Let's do a little recap before we get into it. Gage, you're fucking undefeated right now. Just want to let you know. 6-0. Got 2 more W's last week. Got the half-point cover with Kansas City.
Yeah.
That I didn't even see the play, but someone's saying that safety that they took at the end of the game was a little weird. Mm-hmm. But yeah, still got the cover nonetheless. Also, you took Washington plus 9.5, and they won outright against Detroit. Myself went 1-1-1. Fucking Jake Elliott couldn't make an extra point to save his life.
It was snowing. Okay, give him a break.
No breaks. No breaks here. The first one it wasn't snowing. Eagles I had -6, and they won by exactly 6. So that was my tie. I had Detroit. Obviously covering 9.5. That didn't happen. They lost. I did win with Buffalo +1 against the Ravens.
And that was close.
Cha-ching. Yeah, that was very close. Who couldn't post with the 3? Talk about him later.
G-League legend.
Yeah. So I think I am going to go this week with the...
These are tough.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs -2.
Are you?
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I picked them to get to the Super Bowl.
I felt like that was the tougher one, too. Yeah, my Super Bowl pick, by the way, is completely busted with the Ravens being out.
Because you had them winning the whole thing?
I had the Niners beating them.
Oh, from the get-go.
From the get-go.
Yeah, what about your bracket, which we'll talk about?
My bracket's looking good. I got Bills-Eagles.
Okay, there you go.
I got the Bills winning.
That's right.
God, I really want to say what I want to say, but I don't. I know Devin would kill me because of what I've been saying about the Bills possibly playing the Chiefs in the playoffs all season.
Yeah.
So I won't go hard yet. I won't go hard. Hopefully next week I can talk a little shit. Oh, this Commanders-Eagles game, man, it's tough. Do you think the Chiefs are going to win that game? Do you really think that?
I think something weird's going to happen. I honestly think the Bills are better. I do.
Yes, I think so too.
I think they're better, but I think something weird's going to happen. I think they're going to call offsides on the offense against the Bills this time. It's going to be role reversal.
Oh, like when the Chiefs played the Patriots?
No, when the Chiefs played the Bills, either last year or the year before in the regular season, and Patrick Mahomes like had a hissy fit after the game.
Oh.
It was in the regular season.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, this is tough, man. I'm going to go... I mean, Jay Daniels being a rookie, winning 3 road playoff games in a row seems like a tough task.
Seems impossible.
I'm going to go Eagles -6.
Okay.
I hate every minute of it. Don't like it at all.
Well, since I got some catching up to do, I think you've already got this in the bag, by the way.
Do I?
Yeah, but I'm gonna take the Commanders. Obviously, that's my only choice here. Take the Bills. Come on,
I'll
dude.
take the Bills.
All right,
Fuck
good.
it.
Let's go, baby.
That's what I wanted to do to begin with, but man. So we're like totally against each other this week.
Oh yeah,
Love it.
all in, baby.
Love it.
Bracket challenge update. I meant to have this thing up. Let's see how quick I can do it.
I mean, John Herman, JoJo's father. Bravo so far. My
Looking
God.
good. He's literally got one game wrong.
One game wrong. He has a perfect Final Four.
Yeah.
He's I think ranked 397th in the world.
Yeah.
Right now, which is that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, because so John, he is a Washington former Redskin Commander fan.
Yeah.
And I think he picked this I think he picked this.
He probably wasn't being totally serious.
No, just messing around.
Yeah.
And it's paid dividends, and he is like in the 99th percentile.
99.9 percentile.
Insane.
Crazy. Even like Ethan's got a good bracket, but he had the Lions win the whole thing. He's cooked.
I gotta say, I knew Arb was picking the Eagles before the bracket challenge started, and
Really?
I thought it was a pretty bold pick. But
They're here.
It's
I
looking
mean, they
pretty
got a
good.
good chance to be in the Super Bowl.
where am I?
That's who I picked to go.
I'm 4th right now. Okay. Or
Well,
tied for
fourth
fourth.
is you're
Or-
tied for second for possible points or maximum points.
Got it.
Let's see what the group forecast looks like. So Arb apparently has the best chance to win, according to this.
Okay.
But that's obviously contingent on the Eagles winning the whole thing. I'm actually second with a 21% chance.
Look at you
With the Chiefs. Yeah, so I pretty much, let's see, show my path to win. I need Kansas City to win it all, and I need Philly to reach the Super Bowl. So that's pretty much it. Where are you at? You're Geriatric Jones,
Yep.
11.2% chance. Oh, you and Dev have the same bracket, right?
Yeah.
So you need Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, essentially.
Yes.
And you need to win the tiebreak, which,
I have
do you know what points you put in?
like over 600.
Okay.
She put in 200.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
sorry,
had
Dev.
that going for me. If that
Is she aware that was not a good number?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not to rub it in.
No, I think I asked her and then I looked and she's like, I think I put like 200. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I put like 6.
Yeah.
So, but John, I mean, geez,
Yeah, I don't think John even put a number, but it doesn't matter. I think he...
it doesn't matter because if the Commanders win the whole thing, he's winning the money.
Exactly, because no one else picked him. But yeah, should be interesting. Yeah,
Because he had the Commanders over the Chiefs or the Bills.
over the Chiefs, I believe. Actually, let me double check that. I think it's the Chiefs.
Over the
Oh yeah, over the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
That's just crazy, man.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's got basically a perfect bracket. The only game he missed on
I think
was.
he picked Minnesota.
I think you're right. Nope, that didn't work. But anyways. Yeah, a lot of possibilities. A lot of people with a chance to win here. A lot of people eliminated too. I'm not going to name them all. Poor Nate. Man, he's got a brutal bracket. Same with Brandon.
Hey, those are the breaks.
Damn, poor Brandon. He didn't get any of the final four. Oh no, he didn't get any of the Super Bowl teams right. He had the Ravens and the
Lions.
Ravens and the Lions. Yeah. All right, fun stuff. We'll tap back into that later.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, what time is it?
Last call.
That was easy.
My Kings beat your Warriors again, like we mentioned last night, 123-117. Light the beam.
Warriors led by 18. Sick.
Warriors led by 18.
But Quentin Post is legit, dude.
You like Quentin Post?
I don't know. He's kind of funny to watch out there. He was giving some good effort. He's not super nimble.
Yeah.
A little clumsy, if you will.
I can already see it. You're going to see these Post Malone fans who are also Warrior fans rock the posters in the
Yeah.
back. It's like, okay. Okay.
It's got a clean number 21.
Yeah, I love 21.
Yeah, I know it's 20 years.
Definitely is. What do you got?
PSG with a huge win in Champions League yesterday against Man City, 4-2. I gotta admit, I'm a bitch. I tapped out literally the second Man City scored the first goal of the game, which was like in the 50th minute. I clicked power off on the TV remote.
I wish we clipped things because I wish I could get that. I gotta admit it. I'm a bitch. That'd be good. That'd be real good.
And shortly thereafter, Man City actually went up 2-0, which I was unaware of, and then 4 straight goals from PSG to close out the game, which is huge. It was honestly about as must-win of a game as you could get at this point of the Champions League, and they got it done. They're now sitting 22nd in the table, which doesn't sound great, but the top 24 move on to the knockout stage. Okay. So they're in as of right now. They got 1 match left. It's against Stuttgart, who is also tied with them in 10 points, but below them in the table on goal differential right now. I don't know if a draw is going to get them into the next round, but we'll see. It's going to be an intense last game next week. They'll be on the road.
Vamos PSG.
Vamos PSG. What you got?
Did you watch any college basketball this week?
Negative.
Neither did I.
It's bad TV. What can I say?
Oh, speaking of my Kings, let's see what the score is real quick. Playing the Nuggets on a back-to-back.
Down 11.
4.5 left, down 10.
Yeah, it's not impossible.
They're not playing the Warriors.
If that was the Warriors, it would definitely be a game.
They'd win by 6.
Yeah. Warriors, I think, are losing to the Bulls at halftime right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they're down by a point.
Yeah.
Which, hey.
They were down like by 15 in the first quarter. So, I guess I'll take it.
We had no choice.
Yeah. Yep, 64-63. Brandon Pajemski's back. Everyone's favorite player.
He definitely, I saw him on the sideline.
Definitely kind of stinks. What did I say?
I saw him on the sideline last night, and he had like this track, looked like a sweatsuit, tracksuit. Yeah. He must be Jack Harlow so bad.
Oh, for sure.
You said like that Jack Harlow vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with
that. You like Jack Harlow?
Some of his stuff is sketchy. I don't really listen to him, though.
Yeah, same.
I know Garrett was into him for a while.
Yes.
Where's G-Baby at?
Shocking.
Yeah.
Garrett's going to Hawaii this week.
Is he?
This weekend, yeah.
Good man. Is he going with...
Or on Monday.
Going with his lady?
Yes.
Nice. Big trip.
I was asking if he wanted to watch any games this weekend. He's like, oh, no. He's like, we kind of got to get ready for Hawaii. And I was like, I remember that he had mentioned they're going, but I just didn't remember what weekend it was.
Nice.
So
good stuff.
Miss that guy.
Yeah. I haven't seen him all year. No. That sounds corny to say, but I haven't seen him all year. It's already the 23rd.
Is that cornier than seeing somebody on the 31st of December and be like, "Hey, I'll see you next year."
Definitely not as.
What about like if I see somebody I haven't seen this year so far, and I'm like, "Oh, Happy New Year!" Like 23 days.
It's a little late. A little late.
I mean, it is still.
Unless it's like a close friend that you just like for whatever reason, like Garrett. I might sarcastically say it to him.
I definitely want to say it to Danny next time I see him, even though I've seen Danny this year. Because I feel like he would be annoyed by that.
Oh yeah, he would. Like, really?
Like, dude, it's like 25 days in. What are you talking about?
Can't wait for him to tell you that you were talking shit.
Is that shit talking? Yeah, I guess a little bit.
It's not. All right. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you next week. Do a little Super Bowl preview. Peace.